Hey, Tom here, FlipAnythingUSA. So today I'm going to talk about getting your first deal. Okay, your first deal. It's always the toughest one to get, and then once you get that, I actually fell into mine quite easily. But once you get a first deal, then a real deal, right? Not some people say deal, they're talking about you got a property. When I say deal, I'm talking about making some money, a big margin of profit, and you make your first deal. And then you'll be, okay, great, I made, whatever, 30% on, over and above, and I got a 30% under market or sometimes 50% under market. This is something that you can do with the right training. And once you do that, the toughest thing is you're gonna wonder, can I do it again, right? Can I do it again? And that also will play with your head in the beginning as you build your your portfolio. But anybody here watching here, a lot of people, they imagine their first deal being like a house hack, whatever, live in one part of it, or get a duplex, live in one side. Share with me what some of your hacks are, what some of you guys hope to do, and then I'll kind of go through and I can show you. So look, I've made money on everything you can imagine, right? Everything that you drive by every day, land, buildings, houses, small lots, big acreage, and my goal is always to help my students hit the same thing. Got many millionaires in the class already, and so we're going to kind of get into it, and I'll show you shortly.
And listen, time is on a mission to eliminate all of the snake oil and the fake gurus that fake y'all. He'll show you how to build an empire, starting with nothing but a desire. All you really need is a good mentor, not a used car bullshit. With time, you'll learn to crush it. Investing like Warren Buffett. With real estate, you cannot procrastinate. Everyone who hesitates is left at the starting gate. Hey, yo, so don't delay and join today. The mentorship and flip anything USA. Go.
It's the best thing I ever did.
All right. So, anyways, let's kind of get into it. We could talk about, you almost have to talk about at what level of an investor are you. I've been kind of concentrating more and more on finding people that for my mentorship that have over $50,000, because it's the easiest way to make the most money is to have at least $25,000 to $50,000 in the bank. And like I say, I'm not interested in your money to invest with me or anything like that. I don't push for that sort of thing. I just try to teach people how to make money with the money that they got. Hey, if you just got here, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. And I have a webinar Thursday night. Be sure to get into that this Thursday, every Thursday, 7 p.m. Central. Just go to FlipAnythingUSA.com/webinar. There's links below, and check that out. If you don't have my book, by the way, get my book, Wake Up and Smell the Real Estate. It's been a bestseller on Amazon, Audible, and Kindle. This is really probably the first step I would tell anybody that wants to start making, is you want to learn from somebody that's made tens of millions of dollars in my case, and has done it with multiple properties. There's people that try to sell people. You can put people together to buy an apartment building. Listen, nobody's going to take you seriously. If you don't have the chops for it, like the background, the history of making money. Why would anybody throw in money with you if you don't know what you're doing? So you got to start a little bit small in the beginning, and then build up your experience, and then you'll make it happen for sure. So anyhow, there's the book. Get the book for sure. If you're new, you don't want to escape that. Get the book. But let's talk about first deals. Typically, maybe just go to the whiteboard. Let's go to the whiteboard. Okay, so I'm going to walk over here to the whiteboard. So people have, first of all, people have set things in their mind like their fantasy about, I'm going to get a duplex and I'm going to live in one side and rent out the other. It's fine, but you don't want to limit yourself to just thinking about that one kind of asset. If you do, you're missing the other 99% of the stuff that's around you. So I'm just going to start with here. First of all, we'll call this, we'll just call this first deal, right? first deal, right? First deal, like I say, it's the best thing in the world. You make your first deal because then it gives you the confidence, A, that you can make a deal, number one. And when I say deal, listen, I want to clarify, when I say a deal, I'm talking about 30% off of what it's worth. In other words, you got to get at least 30% off. People have such a low standard. I like Pace Morby, Sub 2 stuff. When they're talking deals, I've done 84 deals, but they never qualify how much money there is. And I think it's so pathetically small, that's why they don't bring it up. I'm very specific in the numbers. I have students that have made tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars now, single millions or multiple millions. And I've only been teaching people for 3.5 years, but I've been a full-time real estate investor for over 40 years, right? In other words, I've lived and breathed it like nobody I know, actually. But so first deal, the easiest thing to buy and resell. Okay, that's a two-parter, right? Easiest thing to buy and resell is a house. Okay, that's the easiest thing to buy and resell, and it's because that's what there's more houses than anything out there, right? There might be more single parcels of land, but I still think there's more probably subdivided houses than anything, more houses than anything. And so the reason that's important is that with a house is it's the most affordable to the most people, right? So it's I'll just write to the most. Okay, so a house is it's really easy to sell, right? Banks, it's what everybody's familiar with, kind of what everybody needs, place to live. If you're an investor, you can get a loan for that, or you can get a loan for yourself. So a house is a really, really good place to start for your first deal, okay? Now, my first deal was a commercial industrial building, but that's just how I started. And it was great for me that it happened that way, because it opened my eyes up that I could buy commercial industrial, retail at a very young age, and in my case with no credit, and we'll get into that more lately. But with a house, okay? So then number two, I'm gonna say is land, right? Okay, now land, the problem with land is a negative. In other words, when you buy a piece of land, it starts to eat you. First thing you do when you buy a piece of land, even if you pay cash for it, you got the taxes hitting you now, right? And it's a non-productive asset, right? Where if you got a house, you might have some income coming in, or whatever or if you borrowed the money to buy a piece of land, you borrow the money to buy a house, you have income coming in to take care of the burden, right? The mortgage. But so let's just start with house. House is going to be the easiest, most marketable. Okay, or just say resellable. Okay, now try resellable. It's not exactly right, but land also. Don't get me wrong. Land also, but land is usually you're going to do owner financing, right? In other words, land is the most owner financed thing out there. So the beauty of that is there's no qualifying. Generally, when owner carry, there's no qualifying unless the owner wants to. They may qualify. But what's really great about land is, in owner finance in general, is the sky's the limit. What two people want to do, what a seller and a buyer want to do together, they can absolutely make work. They can absolutely make a deal and make work. And I'm going to give you some real examples here in a second. I'll go to Google Earth and I'll show you. So I'll give you an example. And then let's just talk about, so we've got house, we've got land, let's just say buildings. Okay, and I'm including with buildings, that can be retail, industrial, office. Okay, so these can also all be, all of these can be owner finance, right? So let's just talk about some of the pros and cons. Number one, with houses, there's more of them than anything. They're the most needed item, where everybody, every time I tell everybody, you drive down the street, you see a car, it's heading to a garage or a carport or a parking spot in an apartment building, best, wherever it's going. So with land, I want to tell you, with land, you have opportunities that are under 100,000, right? And I'm saying even down to 10,000. So I'm going to say under 100K with land is a great place to start, and I'll tell you why. With land, you can generally triple whatever you pay for. You pay 10, sell it for 30. You can get really, really great bargains. I mean, believe me, I bought a property for 200, sold it for 2.8 million. I bought a property for 30, sold it for 165,000. I bought a property for 140,000, sold it for 520,000. And I sold them those last ones weeks from the time that I bought it. So you can make a huge amount of money on land. You can and houses too. You know, I've made 400,000 on a house. You know, many times I've made 400,000 plus on different houses. So with a house though, you, like I say, it's kind of the most, there's probably more buyers out there for that than anything. When you get into land, with land, what's that right in here? Under, it looks like it says under, look, that's under 100K, okay? And so these are gonna be my top two for people that wanna get started. And the reason being is that, you know, a lot of people can afford, right? I always have to say, if you got $50,000 in the bank, you've saved that much, you know, you've got discipline, you've got decent credit, you have more opportunities with everything, really, for that matter. But, so let's talk about land, okay? You concentrate on lots, small buildable lots. You'll have the opportunity to triple your money. I'm just gonna write, you can triple your money, easiest. Triple your dollars on land, okay? It's just kind of the easiest thing to do. And I say this, and listen, I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about. I'm gonna show you that, you know, that some people talk and they're, you know, they never done it, but they say they have, or they talk like they have. Houses, you know, definitely, again, super, it's just kind of the easiest, most marketable thing there is. And then buildings, right? These also are too. There's fewer buyers, but there's fewer buildings out there. So the ratio to buyers is probably, it's not nearly as heavy, but you know, but people here have serious money. The guys that are, the guys like me that are into buildings and stuff, we move very quickly. You know, I mean, I move quickly on everything anyways, but I'll give you some examples on buildings. Like, I bought several buildings, you know, the most recent one I probably made 800,000 on, 800K on a recent building purchase. And the building that I sold to buy that building, actually it was 3 houses. I made $1.6 million on that. And on the houses, I made $1.6 million, or $1.2 million, 3 houses, right? I made about 400,000 per house. And now, going back over here, when you get into land, the range of on lands, I bought properties for $10,000 a unit. I mean, sorry, $10,000 a lot, all the way up to, you know, hundreds of thousands, and made millions, anywhere from. But always the ratio on the cheaper stuff, the stuff under 100,000. Again, it's the easiest to triple your money on. Again, you know, I'm talking about your first deal, so I'm not going to get too heavy into the buildings and things. But all my students, when they get in my class, I get them up and running so that they flip houses and property, land number one, land and houses together. It doesn't matter. And I've got students that have made $1 million just on 3 pieces of land. You know, $1 million on a single piece of land. So again, I'm talking about your first deal, so presumably maybe you're not a millionaire yet. So let's just stick with houses and land for that. And now I'll take some questions here too, and I'm gonna move back over here real quick, and we'll go to Google Earth and get into some of this stuff too. So first, let's talk about land. So I'm gonna show you. Let's just talk about land for a little bit. So I'll give you a range of lots that I bought. This is land, right? And this is probably one of the easiest thing for you guys to concentrate on. Every one of these blue dots you see in this little area right here represents 5 lots. I actually went through like 60 or 70 lots through here. I got 20. I had 20 that I personally purchased, and then I was running out of money, and then I took on a doctor, became my partner, and then I bought like another 40 lots with him. Let's see, Kelly Road. Hey Tom, Kelly here. The pressure with the guns. Oh, the gurus is the first deal. Is there's no bad real estate. That's right. Yeah. So Kelly's in my class. She's one of my students, and this is what I try to pound into all the students. And I'll put it on the YouTube out here too. Listen, there is no bad deals. I'm sorry, there is no bad real estate. There's just bad deals. Don't make a bad deal, and you'll be golden. It's got to be an exceptionally good deal. Yep. And recovering, let's see, Tom is the man. Thank you, buddy. Let's see. I went with someone else, but I knew him before. He would be a better choice to learn from. Just me. I'm not sure. All right. Anyways, let's get on to what I'm talking about here. For land, you know, I want you to see these lots. I bought most of these back in the 80s, like 1980 something, right? But I sold them like months, sometimes weeks, sometimes days after I bought them. But so I would buy a lot like this. Look, these are only 50 by 100. Take a look. Those are only 50 by 100 lots that these houses are sitting on. And there's probably 800-900 total lots in this whole subdivision, right? It's on both sides of a lake, and but you got to be careful. There's some hazards here too. But the bottom line is, when you got a property that already has paved roads, has utilities, has everything it needs for a person to build right away, that can be a really good place to get. Now, I was buying lots in here on average $10,000 and selling them for $30,000. I was making $20,000 a lot on average, and then that's why I quit building houses. I was building houses out there, and I was making about $70,000 per house that I was building. But really, what I was really making, I was making $50 a house on the construction, but I was making $20 on the actual lot. And so one day I sold 3 lots, and I made $60,000, which was more than I made or about the same as what I made on a house after taking 6 months to build it. And so I was like, I'm done with that. I'm just going to start flipping only. And so I flip land like this, and these little lots, like I say, I always tell people, you got the highest chance of tripling your money and even more, you know, on land. You know, you can just be crazy profitable. And so let me qualify that by explaining. So I showed you the little lots, 10,000 for those of you that are in that group. Here's a property. I bought this property here for $30,000. It was 10 acres. You know, you can see these little squares and rectangles that are cut. You know, people just come in here and they subdivide. Some of these things don't get, you know, ever lived on for 100 years sometimes. But again, you get one deal for, you know, 30 grand, sell it for, in my case, that was back in the 80s too, made $130,000 on a single property. And that was just before, you know, doing a bigger deal and making, where is that other one? Gosh. Yeah, out here. Yeah. It's called in Little Rock, or Pear Blossom, actually. Again, did it with 70 acres. I got it for $2,000 an acre. So 140,000, 35,000 down, resold it for 520,000. And like I say, my students, and I'm going to talk about some of the students that have in the class. You know, Eric here that you see right here, he's one of my students. $800,000 on a single property, and about $1 million on another one. And these pieces of land, like Chris here, actually Chris in the class, he's in houses, mostly houses, but even on a single lot, he made 100 grand, you know, made like doubled his money, bought it for 100, sold it for 220. So where are you guys at that are watching? I mean, how much money do you feel like you have available to you? Or I mean, are you first timers? You know, what do you feel like is your comfort zone, you know, for doing something? I'd be curious to see recovering proceeds and investing and inventing. All right. Anyways, so now we could jump over to houses, I guess, just a little bit. You know, on houses, bought a lot of houses. And the same thing with houses. You know, I mean, I'll show you a property. Let's see. I don't know. I mean, I bought a lot of properties. This is just in one neighborhood. You know, to give you an idea, like I bought 7 houses in one little subdivision here. Across the way here, I bought 4 more. Yep, I agree with you, Liam. Absolutely. Houses are, okay, you got 20K to play with, then land would be a good choice for you, I think. Now, you can always tie up something that's more than you can afford, okay? You can tie it up with a deposit, that sort of thing. And, you know, I personally, look, wholesaling is what you do when you can't close the deal yourself. I mean, my students, I try to get everybody just concentrate on stuff you can close, or if you can't close it, then wholesaling or assigning is a, you know, something you can do as a you know, last resort. But if you know, understand, look how the deals are. Look at these. These are all properties that I own in one neighborhood, right? And then let's go even further. You get over this neighborhood. I got over 24 homes in one subdivision, right? Of a subdivision of about 300 homes. So I own just about 10% of that whole neighborhood. So again, you know, land, I mean, with houses, like I said, the comfort level is that people need them. People can get, you know, you can make bigger loans. You can do bigger deals because they're financeable. You know, and so you guys got to be careful out there that what I don't recommend is people doing their first deal. If you don't have any, you know, if you don't have any skill set, if you don't know how to use your hands, or if you're not a contractor, if you don't know, you know what I mean, if you don't know what things cost, you really want to stay away from a remodel, because you probably get yourself in a lot of trouble. You can look at a video I did on Spencer Cornelia. Yeah, Spencer Cornelia. You know, he bought some houses far away, couldn't manage them, and it was kind of a disaster for him. I think in the end he about maybe broke even, but it was a stressful time for him. You can see that video, by the way. But with okay, I wrote, saw some land today I was excited about. After evaluating it based on Tom's criteria, it was a big deal, huh? It was a big deal. Glad to hear that. Hey, listen, if you just got here, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Oh, this thing's clicking behind me. Oh, well. You know, I guess really, you know, here's one of the coolest things. When the students get into the class, and I'll take you back over to the class, folks, or just take you to my page, Flip Anything. You know, a lot of people, the mistake I see with some people make is they kind of come in they've already got ideas in their head. You know, they're kind of set that they want, like, I want to do a fixer-upper. And this could be somebody with no skill set to do so. Biggest mistake you'd ever make. Or it could be disastrous. Now, I got people that in my class that have done deals that, you know, did fixer-uppers that hadn't before, but they had some guidance, right? It's really important, because you make a big mistake. Like Liam in here watching, he's a carpenter like me. You know, he knows what he's doing. He knows. You know, he's not going to get himself in a mess with something. Close one today, Liam says. Close one today, and send out offer for another. Congratulations, Liam. That's awesome. Chris also from the class was in here yesterday, and he said he actually bought and sold one, made 70, and I think he wholesaled another for 23,000. So look, if you sorry, I'm a little bit. I've actually got a couple deals going too right now. I saw my message on my phone here, so I may have a lead here. I have a lead, but I may have a deal. We'll see. I'm crossing my fingers on this one. You know, here's the deal, folks. When you buy something, it should feel like Christmas. In other words, that's how good it'd be. Like it's almost free. Like it's free, or there's a lot of profit there that is free. You know what I mean? You got to do what you got to do to make the deal happen. Put some money out, but you want to get. You know what I mean? It's such a shame. Listen, one of the things that happens when people get in my class is if they just bought something, they realize they probably shouldn't have bought what they bought. Or they realize, oh, the deals that they lost, right? The only regret my students have is that they didn't get into my class earlier. Ricardo wrote, have you seen Ben Malla video about commercial real estate? Well, I think I've seen a bunch of them. Yeah, so probably. I mean, I think Ben, I've talked to Ben before, and Ben, he doesn't have industrial property. He doesn't know industrial, and there's no reason not to get in it. But can't do everything. But Ben also is big in the hotel business, and that is a business, and that is work. And I don't want a business. Take a look. Okay. So that one just sold. So Liam wants us to look at what he just bought, or what he just sold. We can do that. So, all right, we'll go take a look at Liam. Liam is in the class. We'll go take a look at his property he just sold. This is the house you did a value add on? Oh, you tore that thing down. Okay. Oh, wait, is this it, Liam? This is it, right? You just had to redo it? So Liam's in the class, and like I said, he's got some carpentry chops, big time. So he can level a place and do a lot of stuff. Do you want me to look at it on Zillow? Let's go to Zillow. Wow. Okay, that's funny. So this is 428, right? So Liam bought this, and he's already turned it. How much you make on it, Liam? How much did you make on this deal? Let me know, and I'll share it. It's funny. Let me show you guys something too. I like to show this. I'm going to show you a property, and this is one of the things that's just so awesome about real estate in general. Is let me show you 319 Kettering. This is a property I bought 42 years ago, probably. And you can see here it is now. It looks pretty good, not too bad. This is a property that I bought for $40,000 back in like 1983 or 4, and then I resold it for $56,000. Me and my partner split basically $15,000. Yes. I tore it apart. Yeah. Can I find it in Zillow, or I don't get it? What'd you make on it, Liam? Anyways, let us know. But this is a really important lesson for you guys, because this is what happens. This property I bought for 40, sold it for 56 in a month, and then 40 years later, the property sells again. Guess what? For $80,000. Imagine that property I sold for 56 sells for only $24,000 more. 40 years later. Why? Because it was a deal. It was in other words, a lot of people don't get it. But you made 50. Good for you, Liam. So that is really that it says a lot, right? In other words, I bought something for 40, sold it for 56. Somebody buys that behind me. 40 years later, they get it for 80, and they sell it for 200, right? So they make over 100 grand on this thing. And then that person bought it, and now, at least according to Zillow, it's worth right in there 286 to 333 according to Zillow. And so the zestimate, as they say, is 300,000. So the guy that even the guy that bought it for 80, sold it for 200, he makes his 100 grand, and then this guy gets it, and looks like this guy might be poised to make another 50 or 100 grand. But you got to understand that the deals are out there, and anybody that you're going to learn from, I'm just going to throw this out there, anybody that's going to teach you how to make money in real estate, they need to have a track record of success. And, you know, it takes a long time. It takes decades, right? It took me decades to get where I am, where, you know, I've, you know, about tens of millions or maybe hundreds of millions now, you know, real estate. But where I'm sitting now, I'm sitting here, I own a couple 100,000 square feet of property. You know, I have a huge cash flow coming in. You know, I can buy a house with a month's income. And rental income, right? Hundreds of thousands a month coming in. And this came over a period of time, but my students are kind of getting there a lot quicker than I did, right? In other words, their pace is much faster because they've got somebody they can fall back on and talk to. So listen, if you just got here, be sure to get into the class this Thursday, 7 p.m. Central. Go to FlipAnythingUSA.com/webinar, and I'll show you how I made my first million, which is like making 3 million, because this is a million that I made in the 80s. When I started, when I was 19, by the time I was 27, I was, a millionaire. And then I didn't have to work anymore. I didn't have to, I didn't have to go to work or take a job, or I didn't have to have a business even. Sold my company. And so all of a sudden I could just concentrate. In fact, Jim Rohn says, Jim Rohn's a motivational speaker, and he tells people, you work, you have your job, and then you work on your side hustle, if you will, or, you work on making money. Like, your side hustle is make a lot of money with your money, or whatever your side hustle is. It could be different for different people. But for a lot of people, for me, my gosh, it's make an investment. Make an investment that you can double, triple your money on, and then continue to do that till pretty soon you can roll the profits that you make on houses and land into buying bigger, beautiful assets. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. When it's funny. Look, you can tell most of these properties you see that I have here, most of these are houses, because that's what there's the most of. So it's the easiest thing to buy and flip and sell. It's something that, listen, it doesn't matter whether you're fairly poor or rich. The difference between the only difference between the two of you is who has the deal, and either one of you could have the deal. The difference is the rich guy can pay cash for it. You may have to struggle and find a friend for it. So let me just show you. What do you guys want to? Apartments, right? Apartments are not the best choice really for brand new, but I mean, everybody's can learn at a different rate. Apartment buildings, I've made millions on apartment buildings, hundreds of thousands, on a single building, in a very quick time. All this stuff, everything that you drive by, right? Look, take a look at these dots, right? Every one of these represents a deal that I personally found, negotiated, bought, sold, profited, or held for, whatever, however long I've held it for rents. And, you'll see a lot, some people argue, oh, you can't get rich flipping. No, listen, that's how you get rich. You get rich quick flipping. Because just understand that if every property you bought, if you sat on it, right, you buy something, you sit on it, well, now you either got to earn the money through your job to get enough money to go buy another one, right? With flipping, you buy it, triple your money, double your money, buy something bigger, and now triple something that costs more. In other words, it's just like it's like a big card, hard to get rolling, but hard to stop. So you bought it for $217, sold it for $267? Oh, damn. Liam, you just flipped that. You just bought. Oh, this isn't one that you completely tore down, or what did you do? That's what you made on the lot, I guess. Anyways, so anybody got any questions on anything? I mean, like I say, some people have bad credit. I get it. It doesn't mean, land is a really good option for people that have bad credit. Otherwise, you're going to be real dependent on terms, which can also happen. I've got a lot of property. I've done a lot of owner finance, a lot of creative financing, as we call it, in ways you can learn about free if you get in the webinar. So get in the webinar this Thursday. Whatever you do, just skip the bar, get in the webinar. And I just hate to over push it here, but listen, I've got this student of mine right here. He made over $2 million one deal, right? But prior to that, he'd already done 6 or 7 and made 100 grand on average per deal. Before that, I got newer students like Shane here, that's made 350,000. He and his wife. If you got a wife that's a partner with you, there's nothing better than that, right? Somebody that doesn't, even if they don't help you, they just don't get in the way, and then vice versa, men and women. Because there's some women there that really, really got great potential and have really made some big things happen. I actually was looking at buying a property recently from a woman. The woman was passed, had died, but had left a huge, beautiful family, and had them set up just so amazingly. They were showing me the property they're willing to sell me right now. They showed me the property they're willing to sell in 10 years. And I'm like, well, why do you want to sell that in 10 years? They go, because that's what Mama said. And Mama's been right about everything. So, anyways, Liam wrote, no, I was going to build but dumped it to raise cash. Okay, so this is when so look at this. Liam just, like I said, he shelled out $217,000 and immediately turned it into, a $50,000 profit. And like I say, this is, once you get established and once you start getting your skill set investing, you can learn. You got to learn for a very long time. There's just so much to learn, but you learn along the way as you're making money, right? That's the key thing, and that's what's nice if you get in a group of money makers like I have in my community. Everybody's going to be looking out so you don't make a mistake. They're going to question you, so you question yourself, and it just makes for better decision making, and you'd be just blown away when you see people in the class you watch somebody become a millionaire, and that's what happens in my class. You're going to watch people become millionaires, 100%, and it's very powerful. It's very motivational. There's nothing like it. And so, like I say, if you're just getting in here, walking in right now, go to the webinar. Links are below. This Thursday, 7 p.m. Watch it with your wife, girlfriend or whatever. But number one is you gotta want it, right? You gotta want it. You do need money. I'm telling you, if you have $50,000 or more, you should be putting that into an asset that, just if you take 50, even if you just doubled it every year, you know what I mean? It'll add up. But, you'd be surprised. You'll double that, and then you'll double the 100, and then you'll double the 200, and on and on and on. It's a very real thing. Guys like Liam in here, Russ who's usually in here, hundreds of thousands, even millions of dollars in a relatively short amount of time. So, but you're not going to know unless you take time to look. You got to take time to look. If you're a prospector, you're not going to find any gold unless you turn a shovel, right? Anyways, what else can we talk about? Is there anybody got anything else on their mind right now? I'll tell you what, it's just such a relief. We've got a country going under new management, and I'm really excited about the new management because it has a record of doing very good, very well for us. Last time he managed the country, and so, all right, thanks, son. Like I say, the most important thing is get an interest, get started. When I say start getting knowledgeable, right? Don't run in, you should never buy anything. When you buy something, I tell my students, it should feel like Christmas. Like you're just so anxious to get this thing bought and closed so that you can get your reward, the money that you made. If you simply settle for, I just want to get something, and that's what happens. I see a lot of these fake gurus push people, and that's why they don't talk about the profits. They always say deals, because they don't. If they said the profits, it'd be embarrassing, And take a look at the testimonials that you see on some of these guys' sites. They're absolutely laughable. So, anyways, I look forward to seeing you guys this Thursday, 7 p.m. Tom at FlipAnythingUSA.com. If anybody ever wants to email me, you can as well. But main thing is go right here above my head, apply for mentorship. You can go to the success page and also sign up. Webinar, very important, and also book is very important. Get the book. You can see right above here, apply for mentorship, success, webinar, and book. You go to the book page. and you'll see Wake Up and Smell the Real Estate. And like I say, you can read the testimonials on that. It's been very, very successful, very well received, and it was bestseller on Amazon for a while there. So hey, that's it. I look forward to seeing you guys soon. You want to learn how to make millions of dollars in real estate? I've made tens of millions over my lifetime, and I'm showing people how to do it. Get in my free webinar. I have it every Thursday, 7 p.m. Central. Go to the link below, FlipAnythingUSA.com/webinar. Sign up for it. You can talk to me face to face if you want. Don't waste any time. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. You don't want to miss my channel. I've been doing it for years.